All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get this party started. So welcome, welcome, welcome here once again to our little webinar here for Microsoft 365 Copilot. This event is hosted and brought to you by a fantastic Microsoft partner. We have DivergeIT here. Specifically, Ben from DivergeIT is going to go ahead. I'm going to turn things over to him and let him introduce himself to all of you lovely people here before we go ahead and get rolling. So Ben, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much. My name is Ben Beauvais. I work on the business development team for DivergeIT. We're a IT services provider, so we take care of management, cybersecurity, and many other things that you'll need in this day and age. There are so many windows and so many doors that need to be locked down, and we're here to help support making that happen. We are working with a client of ours on Copilot, so we're happy to be seeing that and the capabilities that are out there. So today I'm also looking forward to what's the potential in the future for Copilot. So this is going to be a great session. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Ben. So happy to have you all here. Thanks for putting on this event. And we're here to talk about what's on everybody's mind. It's you can't go anywhere, can't go, can't open up your browser without really seeing anything that doesn't have to do here from Microsoft talking about Copilot. It's the buzzword. It's the new, everything AI is, that's all we hear about these days. And we're here to kind of give you a little bit of a look here into what really compiles and what makes up Copilot here for M365. It's such a fantastic product and a great idea to really improve your organization's workflow and really just make all of our lives easier. I mean, that's what technology is supposed to do. It's supposed to make our lives easier. It's supposed to make simple tasks, able to do simple tasks for us to go ahead and make sure we're not spending time doing those things that, responding to looking through threads of emails, for example, and having to respond to, each and every one and read through every one, to where we have this technology come about that can do things like that for us. So what I want to do here, before I got a little video to kick things off, but I do want to go ahead and start off here with just a poll question here of really just first and foremost, have you or your organization implemented, any AI technologies, and you'd be surprised that, that you maybe not sure it's in progress, but you'd be surprised to think about certain things that are actually AI powered that you really didn't know. From, there's things like search bars as well have been AI powered for years. So you've been utilizing AI technologies, even though it hasn't really been branded or marketed to you that way. But if you have any plans or any initiatives within your own organization, we would really love to get an idea of kind of where everybody is before we go ahead and get started. So that is awesome. Really appreciate everybody filling out those poll questions. I got more for us as we go along. But I'm going to go ahead and kick things off here with a little video just to kind of ooh and ah us all before we go ahead and dive into Copilot. All right. So really what we're here today to talk about, and I love that video there, but we are introducing here at Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is your Copilot for work. So it combines the power of what we call large language models, or LLMs for short, with your data in the Microsoft Graph API and the Microsoft 365 apps to turn your words into, more powerful, the most powerful and more powerful productivity tool. And it's, as far as showcased here, really available to anybody. It's really super, super unique, and really not the, it's the way that's going to just turn your, these words into the most productive tool that you could think about. And the long and the short of it is what I'm trying to say. And it's really trying to transform your work in three ways to unleash creativity. So with Copilot in Word, you can, jumpstart the creative process, so you never have to start with a blank slate again. I know for me, it's like kind of like whenever the hardest part about anything or any kind of document or, letter or report I'm trying to write is just where to start. Sometimes that's the hardest thing. So Copilot gives you, a first draft to edit and iterate on, saving hours of writing and source editing and editing time. And sometimes Copilot will be right, other times usefully wrong. That's the thing with artificial intelligence, especially large language models. But you are always in control, and it'll always put you further ahead from where you were. So you're in control as the author, driving your unique ideas forward, prompting Copilot to shorten, rewrite, or give feedback. And then, for example, Copilot in PowerPoint, it's going to help you create beautiful presentations with a simple prompt, adding relevant content from a document possibly you made last week or even last year. And then we have Copilot in Excel, where you can analyze trends and create professional looking data visualizations in seconds. So that other part here that I want to talk about of these three kind of ways that Copilot's going to help you is to unlock productivity. We all want to focus on the 20% of our work that really matters, but 80% of our time is being consumed with busy work that bogs us down. And Copilot's here to lighten that load, from summarizing long email threads to quickly drafting suggested replies, for example, in Copilot for Outlook. It helps you clear your inbox in minutes, not hours. I know we all love reading email, so it's a shame that a tool came along that will actually help us get through all of those emails, because me, I love coming and waking up and having 30, 40, 50 unread emails. It's the favorite part of my day. But in every meeting in Copilot as well can be a productive meeting with Copilot in Teams. So it can summarize key discussion points, like including who said what and where people are aligned and where they disagree, and can help suggest action items all in real time during a meeting. So I always think of that if you're late to the meeting, or you have to miss it for whatever reason, you can go ahead and get those key discussion points here sent to you afterwards, so you can be aligned here with any kind of time that you possibly had to miss for whatever reason. But Copilot doesn't just supercharge individual productivity, it creates a new knowledge model for every organization, harnessing the massive reservoir of data and the insights that lies largely inaccessible and untapped today. If we think about the amount of data that is being consumed and being produced per day, it's actually quite fascinating. I don't have the exact numbers, but there have been studies for certain sites and things like that, and how much data they actually put out. And you got to think, how can we utilize all of this data? And even within your own organization, if it's just maybe 50 of you, 100 of you, 200, 500, whatever it is, you got to think it takes a lot of manpower to go ahead and manage and harness all and utilize all of that data. And Copilot's here to help out with that as well. So also business chat here, which is a part of Copilot for Teams, works across all of your business data and apps to surface the information and insights you need from that sea of data. So knowledge flows freely across the organization, saving you valuable time searching for answers. You'll be able to access business chat from M365 from Bing when you're signed in with your work or your account here in Teams as well. And lastly here, Copilot's here to up-level skills. Copilot makes you better at what you're good at and lets you quickly master what you've yet to learn. This whole idea of the Copilot and artificial intelligence in general, a lot of people it's sometimes the buzzword's scary. It's like, oh, it's going to take your job. But really what it's doing is actually making you better at your job. That's really the key that you want to take a look at and really focus on here today. The average person uses only a handful of commands, such as, animate a slide or insert a table when you're thinking about PowerPoint or Excel. And when there's so much more within these M365 applications. And now Copilot here is to bring about all that rich functionality and unlocking it, using it just natural language. And this is really only the beginning. You can think about here, it's like, you want to do something and you're not sure quite how to do it. Maybe in a spreadsheet, maybe a formula, or you're trying to go ahead and aggregate this type of data, whatever it may be, and you just might not know exactly how to do it just by simply utilizing natural language. Copilot can help you learn exactly how to do these things as well, which is really, really beneficial, I think. Copilot will fundamentally change how people work with AI and how AI works with people. AI needs us really to go ahead and actually work. It's driven by us. It's driven by the things we do, the things we say, the things we ask it. And as with any new pattern of work, there is a learning curve. But those who embrace this new way of working will quickly gain an edge. And the learning curve is really how to interact with Copilot, how to talk to it. And one thing we really like to, stress here as well, when you're, utilizing Copilot and talking to Copilot, you want to be very, very, it's almost like you want to be very dry with what you say and be very exact, and, not utilizing here like any kind of like sarcasm or things like that within talking to it. You want to be very upfront with what you say to it, and you want to be very specific about it too. The more specific you are, the better response you will get from Copilot. So that's one thing we want to think about today as well. So with all AI here, and definitely something that's been in the news recently as well, I want to highlight before we dive into how it actually works in a little bit more depth, the security and responsible AI portion of Copilot. Microsoft is uniquely positioned to deliver enterprise-ready AI with the Copilot system. And Copilot is more than OpenAI's ChatGPT embedded into Microsoft 365. Some of us might be familiar, might have used ChatGPT to possibly help draft up some emails or things like that. Super, super useful tool. But it's a little bit more than that. It's a sophisticated processing and orchestration engine working behind the scenes to combine the power of this large language model, which includes GPT-4, with M365 applications and your business data in the Microsoft Graph API, now accessible to everyone through natural language. So it's really grounded in your business data, though. AI-powered LLMs are trained on a large but limited corpus of data. So the key to unlocking productivity in business lies in connecting these large language models to your business data in a secure, compliant, and privacy-preserving way. Microsoft Copilot has real-time access to both your content and context with the Microsoft Graph API. And this means it generates answers anchored in your business content from your documents, emails, calendar, chats, messages, contacts, and all other business data, and combines them with your working context. So the meeting you're in now, the emails exchange you've had on a specific topic, the chat conversations you've had in the past week, all to deliver accurate, relevant, and contextual responses. And it's built on Microsoft's comprehensive approach to security, compliance, and privacy. Copilot is integrated into M365 and automatically inherits all your company's valuable security, compliance, and privacy policy and processes, from two-factor, multi-factor authentication, compliance boundaries, privacy protections, and more. Make Copilot the AI solution that you really actually can trust, because you have all that control on it. All the security measures you've already put in your organization, Copilot adheres to, because it's a part of your M365 environment. So it's excuse me, I'm sorry. So we know that data leakage also is a concern for customers. And to alleviate this, we want to think about this. Copilot LLMs are not trained on your tenant data or your prompts. So with your tenant, our time-tested permissioning model ensures that your data won't leak across user groups. And on an individual level, Copilot presents only data you can access using the same technology that we've been using for years to secure customer data. So for example, just to kind of expand on that, if you are trying to go ahead and create a document utilizing Copilot, you want to use some, other documents that are possibly, stored in your SharePoint, for example. If certain SharePoint sites you have within your organizations, the ability to delegate who has access to these sites. So a person who shouldn't, maybe it's like some sensitive information that's kept in a certain SharePoint site with all these rules, and they're not a part of that SharePoint site. You utilizing Copilot here, it's utilizing your user, you yourself, and since you don't have permissions to that data, Copilot's not going to be able to access it either, because it's taking the permission set by your organization when the Graph API makes that call to the data that it's available to it. So just to keep that in mind. And it's integrated into the apps millions use every day. Microsoft 365 Copilot is integrated into the productivity apps that people use and rely on, like in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Teams. And I'm going to go through and kind of talk about the benefits and the features of each one of these. And it's an intuitive and consistent user experience, looks and feels and behaves the same way in Teams as it does in Outlook, or PowerPoint, or Word. So it's really, really, really easy to go ahead. It's not going to, you're not learning essentially a new user interface all the time when you're utilizing it. And it's designed to learn new skills, as I mentioned before. Microsoft 365 Copilot's foundational skills are a game changer for productivity. So it can, create, summarize, analyze, collaborate, automate using your specific business content and context. But it doesn't stop there. Copilot knows how to command apps, such as, if you say, like, animate this slide, for example, in a PowerPoint presentation, or a slide deck. I'm showing my age. I'm saying PowerPoint presentation a lot now, where we call it a slide deck for the most part. And it works across apps, translating a Word document into a PowerPoint presentation, or a PowerPoint presentation into a Word document, or an email into a Word document. It's, all interchangeable there. And Copilot is designed to learn those new skills. So that is awesome. And it's really committed to building responsibility. At Microsoft, we are guided by our AI principles and responsible AI standards and decades of research on AI, grounding and privacy preserving machine learning. A multidisciplinary team of researchers, engineers, and policy experts reviews our AI systems for potential harms and mitigations, refining training data, filtering to limit harmful content, query and result blocking sensitive topics, and applying Microsoft technologies like our Interpret ML or Fairlink to help detect and correct data, detect and correct data bias. So there's foundations to AI, what we call responsible AI, and Microsoft is really actually a pioneer in that. AI has been around for a long time, machine learning has been, and there are essentially 6 different principles within that AI principle standard. AI has to be inclusive. It can't be biased, things like that. So without getting too technical about that, but the foundation of AI has been around as far as responsibility for a long time. And it's just being applied here in new ways and new tools for you. All right. So I kind of want to get into here before we talk about, Copilot within specific, applications, or M365 applications, give you a little idea, maybe get a little nerdy here about how it actually works and how, I want to talk about as well ChatGPT, which is a large language model, to fully understand here, because that is, a main component of actually what Copilot utilizes. And then I'll talk a little bit more about how ChatGPT works. So ChatGPT is a language model based on the GPT architecture. It undergoes pre-training on a diverse data set to learn language patterns and predict the next word in a sequence. The model is fine-tuned for specific tasks or domains, and during the inference, it generates responses based on learned patterns. So users interact by providing prompts, but the model doesn't have specific language beyond its training data. There are limitations, such as generating incorrect answers or biased content. OpenAI iteratively deploys ChatGPT, incorporating user feedback for improvements. So ChatGPT is a language model developed by OpenAI, based on the generative pre-trained transformer architecture. So it utilizes data collection, model architecture, tokenization, which is the input text is divided into smaller units called tokens, and tokens can be as short as one character, as long as one or more words. It helps the model process and understand the text more effectively. It's looking at certain like word for word, even letters within the word, spelling, and all of that to really be able to go ahead and be utilized properly. And then there's training that's involved with all models here. Anything to do with artificial intelligence, there's always training involved. And then after that, as far as fine tuning, the model may undergo fine tuning on a narrow data set with more specific or carefully generated examples. But this fine tuning process helps tailor the model to perform better on specific tasks and domains. So just a couple different things I wanted to talk about, and limitations is one I do want to hit on as well. It has some limitations, such as generating incorrect or nonsensical answers, being sensitive to input phrasing, and the potential to produce bias or inappropriate content. So OpenAI has implemented safety margins, including the use of the moderation API to block unsafe content. So Microsoft 365 Copilot, though, that's a little bit I just wanted to give you on GPT, which, language models and things like that, to better understand what we're going to talk about here when we explain Copilot. So it's powered by what we call the Copilot system, which is a sophisticated processing and orchestration engine. It harnesses the power of three foundational technologies: your M365 applications, which are Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. The Microsoft Graph, that's all of your content and context, your emails, files, meetings, chats, calendars, to name a few, and a large language model, thinking back to what GPT kind of does. To a creative engine capable of parsing and producing human readable text, all accessible through natural language. So it starts with a prompt for you. So this is kind of the process on how it works. So it starts with a prompt from you in your app. You type in something in Copilot and say, I'm looking to do this, that, and the other. And Copilot pre-processes the prompt through an approach that is called grounding. So put simply, grounding improves the quality of the prompts. So you get answers that are relevant as well as actionable. That's a big thing here. So one of the most important parts of grounding is making a call to the Microsoft Graph to retrieve your business content and context. So Copilot combines this user data from the graph with other inputs to improve the prompt. The prompt being what you request, what you ask Copilot, to put it simply. And excuse me one second. And then it sends the modified prompt to the large language model. So you may be familiar with those, as I was talking about before, ChatGPT, as well as we have Bing Chat as well, which is a Microsoft iteration of a large language model. And Copilot takes the response from the large language model and post-processes it. This post-processing includes adding grounding calls to the graph. All that responsibility that I talked about, responsibility AI checks, security, compliance, all of that, and privacy reviews and command generation. So all of those things that I just talked about a few slides ago are all being implemented here in this post-processing process. And finally, Copilot sends a response to the user and commands back to the apps. So Copilot iteratively processes and orchestrates these sophisticated services to produce results, and it honestly kind of feels like magic. So the big difference, though, is when I talk about here with ChatGPT and Copilot, since I've kind of used ChatGPT to explain some of these processes that are working here within Copilot. But there is a difference. While they're both large language models, Copilot has the ability to utilize the Microsoft Graph API. So always keep that in mind. That's what makes Copilot unique to your M365 environment. So you can utilize that data and go ahead and implement the compliance that you have set, privacy, all of that here. That is what makes the difference here with Copilot. And you can utilize it with your M365 apps. All right. So what I wanted to do is kind of talk about here, get into now the features and use cases and just things to think about as far as what Copilot can do for you in our M365 application. So I want to go ahead and start with Word. So imagine beginning a document with just a sentence. You could say draft a 2-page project proposal based on X data, whatever it is, and Copilot in Word will craft a detailed draft, integrating information seamlessly from your organization's resource. So also I want to talk about, let's talk about drafting a project proposal, for example. So normally this could be daunting, but with Copilot, you provide a topic, let's say, and it lays the groundwork for you. It understands the context as well as the objectives you set, and even industry jargon, making the draft relevant and targeted. And Copilot doesn't just start documents, it enriches them with contextually relevant information. So, and for editing, it's having a co-editor that understands your stylistic needs, making your writing more coherent and impactful, which I think is super awesome. It's not just there to go ahead and get you started, but it can take a look at what you already did. So it provides here editing and summarizing for you. So it's not just a drafting tool. It can edit and summarize these documents as well. It can transform a dense paragraph into something crisp and clear, and even tweak the tone to match your intent. Whether you want it to be professional, if you want it to sound casual, passionate, or anything like that. You can even say if you wanted to summarize it as a poem, which is kind of cool. And it does here. And with that, though, I do want to talk about the tone. That tone is crucial in communication. Copilot's ability to adjust tone helps ensure the document resonates where it's for its intended audience. So whether it be formal or a business proposal or a casual memo. So let's go ahead. We have some nice quick little videos to kind of explain and go a little bit deeper into what I was just talking about here. So I'm going to go ahead and for our viewing pleasures, go ahead and turn it over to the video. In 1 second. I lost my slide deck here. Give me 1 second, everybody. Apologize for that. I don't know why it keeps pulling up this. Give me 1 second, everybody. Apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm struggling there with that little video. We're just going to go ahead and skip it. I apologize for that. Not sure why that is not working here, but that is A-okay. All right, so now let's move on here to Copilot in Excel. So I want to explore Copilot in Excel and talk about, the breakthrough in the realm of data analysis. With its ability to understand natural language queries, Copilot turns complex data into insightful narratives. And it's not about, just crunching numbers, and it's about uncovering the stories these numbers do tell. Analytics is a huge push here, as we've seen here, as I've talked about the copious amounts of data that are coming through inside of organizations these days, and how it's just constantly growing and having a tool here that can actually analyze this data for you in kind of like simple natural language, kind of plain speak, and you can go ahead and figure these things out and make these connections, which is awesome. So imagine easily discovering correlations in your data with a simple query, or ask, what if, for example, like the scenarios that could come up. What if we, increased, what if the price of this, let's say we're a cake company. What if the price of eggs rises by 50% next year? How will that affect our revenue? How will that affect here the prices, our retail prices, and things like that? Copilot is here to help you out with that. So really, and I mentioned this before, gone are the days with struggling with context formulas. Using Copilot, it recommends the most effective formulas for your data. Simply the process of analysis and interpretation, which is awesome. Or let's say you want to break down sales data by region or a product line. You can just ask Copilot to do that for you, and it'll provide you an instant comprehensive analysis, highlighting key trends or maybe even outliers as well, if you want to specify it to that. Projecting the impact of market changes can be challenging as well. So I talked about before, you can do those what if scenarios on those material costs, for example, or whatever you utilize within your business. And understanding the influence of different variables on your outcomes is also crucial. So what we see here is, you can ask Copilot to model the effect of increased advertising spend on sales. Let's say couple that with the increase in certain resources and materials and things like that. Can we budget and allocate enough for marketing? You can think, combine that data across your, different sectors of your organization. And really what we also want to talk about here is, I want you to really consider the power of asking something like, show me the correlation between customer satisfaction and repeat sales, or recommend the best formula for calculating year-over-year growth. Copilot in Excel is not just a tool, it's a data analyst at your fingertips, ready to transform in the way you interact with data and derive insights. So we'll go ahead and see. I do have a little video for Copilot in Excel. Let's go ahead and see if that one.
Copilot in Excel helps you make sense of all your data. Say you need to analyze this quarter's sales results. You start by asking Copilot to analyze the data and give you 3 key trends. Within seconds, you've got what you need, but you want to drill in. You ask Copilot a follow-up question about one of the trends. Copilot creates a new sheet, giving you a sandbox to play in and helping you better understand what's happening. You ask Copilot to visualize what contributed to the decline in sales growth this period. Copilot adds a little color to make the problem jump off the page. Now you want to dig deeper and ask a follow-up question with a what-if scenario. Copilot not only answers your question, it creates a simple model and even asks if you want to learn more about what it did with a step-by-step breakdown. Finally, you can ask it to create a graph of your projected model. Copilot in Excel turned a sea of data into clear insights and actions.
That's really, really awesome. And that's the whole thing too, is you can ask Copilot as well too. I love that point that little video brings up, to ask, what it did. When I asked this question and went ahead and did this for you, what did you do to do that? That's the whole idea of, you learning from AI and actually, adding to your skill sets, formulas that you may not have thought of or didn't know before. AI can help you out with that. So what I want to do is go ahead right now, before we go ahead and talk about PowerPoint here, is throw out another poll question for you. Because I've talked about all of these benefits as far as with AI and all the things we're going through, all the things we can use with it. But what is the biggest challenges you face in adopting AI? Hopefully we've hit on a lot of these things here, how they, can be, it's something you can skill up and get better at. Data privacy concerns with Microsoft 365 Copilot is you have control over that. Cost, integration issues, things like that. Any new technology presents its, own share of, challenges and things like that. So, but I always think here, we always adopt new technology. Every organization does and has to survive. So, being scared of the next one or a little fearful of it, there are ways to alleviate that fear, and that's what we're here to help with. Right. So will you go ahead and answer that poll? And once again, we really do appreciate everybody providing an answer there for us. Let's turn our attention here to Copilot and PowerPoint. So this is the tool to revolutionize how we create presentations, transforming basic ideas into visually stunning slides. And it's not just about putting text on slides, it's about bringing your message to life visually and engagingly. So with Copilot, you can turn a written document actually into a presentation, which is great almost instantly. It intelligently picks up on key points and suggests the best way to present them. I'm terrible at creating slide decks. So it's one of those things to where any help I can get, I would love it. Please, please, please. But it's also about making sure your slides look the best. And that's the thing I always struggle with. You can ask my colleague here, Dave. I'm a real gem here at making PowerPoints look nice. Copilots can suggest layout changes, adjust text formatting, and even recommend visual enhancement to make your slides more compelling. So imagine having a detailed report that you need to present. With Copilot, you can transform this document into a presentation with Copilot suggesting the most relevant content and optimal layout. Thank you, Dave. You confirmed that it is true. I am very bad at it. So if your presentation is too lengthy, ask Copilot. You can ask them to condense it as well. It can summarize and focus on the most important points, ensuring your presentation is concise and impactful, which I appreciate a lot because I am very wordy. I'm a very wordy person. I think a lot, I talk a lot, and anything to condense that for anybody is awesome. And, as far as a final touch, Copilot can reformat your content, making it not just informative, but also visually appealing, enhancing the overall impact of the presentation. The power of Copilot lies in the ability to understand commands, Copilot and PowerPoint specifically, the ability to understand commands like, turn this report into a 10-slide presentation or reformat these slides for a more professional look. it's really not just your tool, Copilot, that is. It's a designer, actually, as well, and an assistant, helping you create presentations that are not only informative, but also captivating. So let's go ahead and take a short look into that as well.
Let's say you're getting ready for your customer pitch meeting. Everyone has had a moment when they wish they could turn their proposal into a customer-ready presentation without having to start from scratch. Now you can. Using just your own words, Copilot can translate Word into PowerPoint. You can also translate PowerPoint into Word. Now you have a professional-looking presentation that you can hone and polish. Let's say you want to add a slide. Give Copilot some quick instructions. There it goes, ready for you to review. So this slide is too wordy. Let's ask Copilot to make it more visual. Give it a few seconds. And check this out. Copilot can even animate the slide. It gives it a professional design treatment in a single click. But it doesn't stop there. Copilot even generates speaker notes for all your slides. It's not only a time saver, it's helping you be a better presenter.
All right. Cool. So got two more applications here really to look at. We got Outlook as well as Teams, and let's dive into Outlook now. So it's really, Copilot in Outlook is really transforming email communication. It's designed to make managing emails not just efficient, but also intuitive. And with Copilot, staying on top of your inbox becomes simpler and crafting responses becomes faster. So Copilot can quickly summarize long email threads. Like I said, we love reading through long email threads. So but if you don't love it, you can use Copilot here to summarize those threads, giving you the gist of it, what's going on without having to sift through every single message. So this is especially useful for catching up also on missed conversations as well. If you want to take a vacation, you don't want to worry about your email, you come back, you have hundreds of emails to read through, you can go ahead and utilize Copilot to help summarize that for you. Also, responding to emails can be time consuming as well. Let's say it is those hundreds of emails you got back from vacation. Copilot assists by drafting responses based on the context of the email, allowing you to reply more quickly and also more effectively. Organizing your meetings as well is also streamlined here with your calendar within Outlook. So you can tell Copilot to send an invitation for a team meeting next Wednesday, and it'll take care of for that, checking your calendar and drafting the invite to go ahead and send that out, specifying who you want to send it out to as well. You can also summarize email. You can ask, Copilot to summarize the emails you missed yesterday, the last week, and it provides a concise overview of all the crucial communications. Or when replying to maybe a complex email, you're not sure where to start. Kind of like Word, you're trying to think of it like that. Copilot can go ahead, you can instruct it to draft a response confirming the project timelines and deliverables, for example, making it the reply both quick as well as accurate. So really in summary, it's not just an email tool, but it's kind of like an assistant, the way you kind of want to think about it, helping you stay on top of your communications. So let's take a look here at Copilot in Outlook.
Copilot in Outlook helps you stay on top of email. You have important emails to respond to. Copilot can help you separate the signal from the noise and give you hours of time back. It helps you triage your inbox so you can prioritize the most important emails. And Copilot helps you on the go in Outlook Mobile. It can summarize long email threads. You can draft a reply, use data from an Excel file, and Copilot will generate a reply for you. You can edit it. You can make it more concise, change the writing style, or add more context. Now all that's left to do is review the proposed response and hit send. It's a productivity game changer.
And I love thinking about that Copilot and utilizing it mobily with Outlook because I'm based on the East Coast, and I work with people all over the United States as far as different time zones. And maybe when I'm off at 5, or maybe skip out just a few minutes early to get a twilight round of golf in, and I get some really crucial emails that come in that I really want to address then and take a look at. Reading it on my phone, it's just awful. I hate it. So, having Copilot there to go ahead and just summarize that long email thread right on my phone to make my response here if I need to respond in a timely fashion, very easy. I mean, that's super, super awesome to me. I mean, I'm sold just on that. So I can focus more on, my short game. So instead of responding to email. So what I want to do is go ahead before we hit our last little look into Teams and business chat. I want to go ahead and throw another poll question out there for you. So which department in your organization do you feel would most benefit from an AI workflow, implementation? Whether it be here, and we talk about, Copilot in this case, but there are other, tools that AI that can be utilized, and Ben's going to talk about that a little bit later as well. And taking a look here at, how AI can help maybe solve some workflow issues for you. But if you have a look here as to, possibly, which departments in your organization, or you think you have an idea of maybe one versus the other and things like that, that's awesome. And Dave, thank you. While I'll still three-putt your. That never happens. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. So while you're answering that question there, let's talk about here Copilot and Teams. So this is where I'm thinking about a tool that redefining that collaborative work, because that's kind of what Teams really is for us. It's more than just a messaging platform. It's a hub where collaboration is streamlined and made more effective. So one of the standout features is meeting summarization, and I alluded to that earlier. Imagine ending a meeting and having a concise summary of all key points and actions ready to reference and follow up on. Additionally, Copilot helps organize discussion points and identify key actions from conversation, ensuring that no critical information is missed. It's always, you could have a long meeting going through a lot of different things and be able to have those bullet points, essentially those key actions that you were talking about, just defined for you right there with the help of Copilot is super awesome. It's great for summarizing discussions. As I mentioned before, it can summarize today's, the meeting that you just had. And break down topics discussed, also decisions made, and maybe some possible next steps from that. You can also, create like actionable tables. You can tell Copilot to create a table of action items from a certain thread of messages, not just a meeting, to go ahead and structure it for you, to make it easier to go ahead and address those actions, and overall just making it more efficient. So also now talking about business chat within Microsoft 365 Copilot, it kind of works inside with Teams here. This is not just your chat tool, it's a revolutionary way to work across all of your data within M365, your emails, documents, meetings, and more, converging it all into one interactive experience. So business chat stands out for its ability to pull information from various sources, and it synthesizes data from your calendar, emails, documents, you name it, providing a comprehensive view of your project and tasks. So this integration empowers users to make more informed decisions and manage tasks more effectively, all once again, utilizing natural language commands. For instance, you could ask business chat to summarize the key points from last week's client discussion, and it seamlessly collates information from various conversations as well as emails. So it's Copilot here in Teams and Business Chat. It's not just a tool, but they're your partner in collaboration as well as with others in your organization. They help you stay on top of your work, organize information effectively, and ensure that your team's collaboration is as productive as can be. So let's go ahead and take a look at Teams, Copilot in Teams, as well as in Business Chat.
Copilot in Teams makes every meeting a productive one. Here, you're in a meeting with your team. You can ask Copilot to summarize what's happened so far. Copilot summarizes who said what and what points were made, capturing the spirit of the discussion. And as the meeting progresses, you can check in on where people stand. You can even ask Copilot what questions are unresolved. It is just amazing to see this happen in real time during a meeting. Copilot in Teams makes Business Chat works across all your data and apps to help you do things you've never been able to do before. Let's say you're preparing for a customer meeting. You start by asking Copilot to summarize all your recent customer interactions, meetings, content you've shared, any issues, and deliverables. Copilot works across your calendar, emails, chats, documents, and meetings to find all the pertinent information. Now you've got a concise summary, complete with citations. You can hover over the citations to verify sources or learn more. You know product lead times are likely to come up in the conversation, so you ask Copilot to help. Copilot combs through all your documents, meetings, emails, files, and company resources to get you what you need. With Copilot, you're always prepared.
Very, very cool. And, anything to make life easier, in my opinion, is a good thing, and anything to make us, skill us up more as people within our organization, or just as people in general in society and life, I think is super, super awesome. So Copilot here for M365 is not available for everybody just yet, but what I wanted to do is utilize a tool that Copilot is available in within the Microsoft ecosystem to go ahead and give you a little bit of a live demo of kind of what's going on. And the example I'm going to use here is going to be Power Automate. And Power Automate is a part of the it's part of Power Platform. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my Power Automate site. I had it open up before. It was kind of getting in the way of my presentation there. So let me just pull it back up, throw it back up here for you. And for those, I'm curious, has anybody used Power Automate, maybe Power Apps as well? You could let us know in the chat, or let us know with kind of a reaction or anything like that. But what Power Automate is a way to automate tasks here within your organization. It's a really, really fantastic tool that actually creates, where you create flows, and you can connect it to different services within M365 to pull data from it. You can connect it here to Outlook, to SharePoint, to Teams, and things like that. All of these connectors, and there's many other third-party connections that you can make as well. So really a great way to go ahead and, for example, automate a process about maybe sending out an email when a certain message is sent in a certain team, for example, to whoever needs to know that that was posted in there. Things like that, you can go ahead and utilize Copilot here inside of Power Platform. I believe it's available with E5 licensing, just to be specific. But I just want to give you an example of kind of what like a Copilot will look like inside of your, your M365 environment when it is generally available for everybody. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a flow here real quick and just kind of show you that. So I'm going to go ahead and utilize, let's just do an automated cloud flow. So I can go ahead and trigger something by an event, for example. There's other different flows inside of Power Automate here. Just to let you know, you can schedule things to run at certain times of the day. You could go ahead and essentially have one that you manually run if need be. But I'm going to go ahead and choose now. There's also tons of top templates here already set up for you. So if I could spend hours talking about Power Automate. We've done plenty of trainings on this, but I just want to go ahead and open up a flow here. We'll just call this a demo flow. Why not? And I'll just go ahead and skip this here. Just get the canvas up and running, because as you'll see on the right-hand side here, welcome to Copilot in Power Automate. It's also available in Power Apps as well. So what you have here essentially, and to not get into too much detail, but to show you here, essentially with a flow here in Power Automate, it runs certain steps in order to go ahead and achieve a desired outcome, for example. So let's say I want to go ahead and send a message, an email to our team when someone is added, maybe like a new employee is added, like a welcome message to everybody, or let them know, hey, send this email out to everybody, letting them know that this new person has been added to the team, so they can go ahead and see that they've been added. Another way for them to be notified of it, so they can say, hello and welcome, and set up a little meet and greet with them and things like that to go ahead and get to know their new employee. So as you can see down here, all I'm going to do is just use natural language, very plain language, but be very specific. As specific as possible to go ahead and create this, or get this flow started for me. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to learn from it, and you can actually modify things as you go along. So what I'm going to do is say, and I always like to be nice, please create a flow. I'll spell create right. That will email everyone when a new member is added, spell member right as well, added to our, let me pick a channel. I know our learning team. To our learning team channel. We have a channel called the learning team. Go ahead. It couldn't rephrase my request here. All right. Let's try this. So I have to be maybe a little bit more specific. This is a part of that learning curve. Create a flow that will email. I got one. Here we go. Email Dave when a message is posted in our Dream Team chat. So it went ahead and started creating a flow here. So I asked it when a message is sent to a chat or added to a chat to send an email. And you see here the two steps that it created for me. It created a Teams message to where essentially where it's going to go ahead and specify when a message is added to a channel. I will have to specify these parameters a little bit more. And then as far as send an email to Dave, it's specifying here. So I don't have, and what you'll need is like certain connectors to certain aspects of your M365 environment. Like if I connected to my M365 users, I could type in Dave's name, for example, and actually populate his email. But it's just putting Dave in an email example. And I see here the subject, new message in the Dream Team chat. And I can say, and you can see here it's created a message has been posted in the Dream Team chat. So I could be more explicit to say have the body tell Dave summarize the message in the Dream Team chat, for example. And I can go back to Copilot and keep on, fine tuning this flow, for example. And this will work the same way when you're asking it to draft a document based on something or creating a slide deck based on a document that you had, or maybe from a Teams meeting, the meeting notes of a Teams meeting you had later on, allowing all of these applications here to go ahead and connect and talk to one another and utilize one another via the large language model, that's how you're communicating to it, and the Microsoft Graph API to go ahead and utilize all your content and context of your data. So awesome. So with that here, we got a few minutes left. I wanted to go ahead and turn things back over here to Ben to go ahead and close things out for you. Ben, I know you have something that you want to go ahead and talk about with everybody, so I'm going to cede the floor to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Tyler. And wow, I mean, I am already looking forward to so many of these features. This has just been a wow thing. So appreciate all the info there. I can't wait to not read all of that email chain that you get every morning. That's definitely a thing. So the nice part about it is it's called Copilot because you do still operate the plane. It isn't called pilot, it's Copilot. You're still flying the plane. So many people say, oh, AI is going to replace us all. It's absolutely about efficiency to help you out. So taking a look at this and the future of the workplace, this is going to be really great. I do believe the rollout in general is going to be somewhere around summer 2024 or something like that. So enterprise clients, some of our enterprise clients that we're working with at DivergeIT, they do have access to it now, but there is a 300 seat minimum, $30 a license, so it is a large investment up front. But there's more to be done in AI than just within Microsoft and Copilot, and I'm sure many of you don't want to wait 6 months for any kind of AI implementation to happen, and that's where we could potentially step in to help you with that. So Copilot operates obviously really great within the Microsoft 365 environment, but what if you have workflows outside of 365? If you want to have a chatbot on a website, if you have a Google workflow, some other third-party system that you want to put those things together, there are many capabilities out there in AI. So with ChatGPT, it is still the Wild West out there as far as security of your data, what you're asking it, it's public, what it's learning. And there's a fine line too of legalities of things that are created out of it that your company uses. It can get a little messy as far as who owns what, where that is. And there's a lot of news stories about legal cases and stuff and that kind of thing. So it is very interesting. But we have the capability at DivergeIT to create a private AI instance so that you can have control over that data, your own data, without worrying about that data leak. And it can access your own documents. That's probably one of the core reasons for looking into it. Would be you can ask ChatGPT, information that it has publicly, but what if you're able to access your own company documents. So for example, HR, PDFs, finance, Excel documents, ChatGPT won't have any access to that, but you have it internally. So by coming in, securing that, and then being able to, query some questions that you have and be able to pull from your own documents, that also saves a whole bunch of time. So we currently have it set up to access, well, the benefits of working from home. We have the benefits of being able to access our SharePoint documents from our own company, being able to access our data real time, and that really helps with efficiency. A couple of the projects that we've done for clients, we have a chatbot that we've implemented for a company. So basically, they would have users consistently talking to their customer service reps about how to install items, how to, without accessing the frequently asked questions. So we were able to create a chatbot that would interact, front facing with customers and not have that continuous need for, the repetitive tasks of customer service agents. The same for help desk. So if you're at a company, if you're working in the IT department, you get a lot of help desk tickets coming in, and you have to look up the solution on all those continuously. So the nice part about Spotter AI, which is an IT help desk implementation tool, is that it will take a look at what the possible solutions would be, present them to your help desk agent, and at the same time, craft a suggested email response. We all know working in IT, sometimes someone can be extremely good in technical abilities, but maybe a little more direct and a little less flowery in their responses. So the nice part about this is it gives suggested email. It kind of unifies the voice for the organization on what the response would be from help desk. And it just saves a whole bunch of time in being able to turn around help desk tickets. So we've implemented that for a few of our clients, and we've got some great feedback on that. Outside of that, the last thing I'll mention is Microsoft, I think, says for every dollar invested in AI, it's realizing an average return of $3.50. So basically, you're more than tripling your money investing in AI. So if you have an AI wish list, reach out to us, throw something in chat. I wish I could be able to do this. I wish my finance department didn't have to go from the CRM to the invoice to the how do we integrate that. There's a lot of capabilities out there, and investing now is going to set you up better for the future. So just wanted to throw all that out there. Feel free to reach out. Happy to discuss what's possible. And I'll turn it back over to Tyler. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Thanks for being here. Thanks for putting on this event. And I threw out one last poll there. If you are interested here, Ben and his team here at DivergeIT could go ahead and help you out with that, talking about all those things that he just said, as far as simplifying that workflow, helping your technical people be able to communicate with people in a normal fashion and things like that. Totally understand that, and help you not having to read all your emails as well. That's ultimately, I pay for that. But really appreciate that. You could fill out that poll if you are interested in learning a little bit more. But it is top of the hour, everybody. We'd like to land the plane on time and be conscious of your time as well. But we really do appreciate everybody spending the time here and the day with us. Wonderful, wonderful. Hope you're able to learn something here, and fill out that survey here before you head out. But otherwise, we are going to go ahead and roll out of here, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a great weekend when it comes to it. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.